Greetings, Namo Buddhaya. I am K.T.S. Rao, former professor and head of the Department of Buddhist Studies, Delhi University. In this module, I shall be talking to you about Bodhgaya. Bodhgaya, which is also known as Bodhgaya, is the place where at the age of 35, Siddhartha Gautam had attained Bodhi, that is enlightenment, under a peepal tree that became known as the Mahabodhi tree. For the Buddhists, Bodhgaya is the most important and the holiest of all the pilgrimage sites related to the life of the Shakyamuni Gautam Buddha, who is popularly known as the Buddha. The history of Bodhgaya is documented by a large number of inscriptions datable from the 3rd century BCE and pilgrimage accounts primarily by the Chinese pilgrims Faxian, who came to India in the 5th century of the Common Era, and Xuanzang, who came in the 7th century of the Common Era, and the Tibetan pilgrim Dharmswamin, who came around the 13th century of the Common Era. The original name of this place was Uruvela, or in Sanskrit Uruvilva, and after the Buddha's enlightenment here, it became known variously as Sambodhi, that is full enlightenment, Vajra Asan, that is the diamond throne, or simply the Mahabodhi, that is the great enlightenment. This place was rechristened as Bodhgaya by the Victorian Indologists when in the 18th century they began depicting this place as the opposite and counterpart to Brahmagaya or Hindu Gaya. When after leaving home at the age of 29, Siddhartha Gautam arrived in the region known as the Gaya Dharmkshetra, or in Pali Gaya Dhammakhet, or that is the Gaya Tirth. This region with the Vishnupad temple at the center contained 3 important settlements, that is Gaya, Uruvela and Senanigam at the Buddha's time. The Gaya Mahatmya, a section of the Vaju Puran, lists as many as 324 sacred sites in the Gaya Dharmkshetra that are connected to ancestral rites. The Gaya Dharmkshetra, covering a radius of about 2.5 crores, that is between 8 and 10 kilometers, includes the peepal tree in the south, which is to be worshipped on the 4th day of the Pindadan rituals, and which after the Buddha attained enlightenment under this tree became known as the Mahabodhi tree. There is evidence that indicates that this peepal tree in fact was being worshipped in the pre-Buddhist period by the local population as some sort of Chaitya Vriksh, that is a tree shrine, or Van Chaitya, that is forest shrine. In fact, was being worshipped in the pre-Buddhist period by the local population as some sort of Chaitya Vriksh, that is tree shrine, or Van Chaitya, that is a forest shrine. The earliest settlement located in the immediate vicinity of the would-be Mahabodhi tree was the Gam Nigam, that is village township of Uruvela, now identified with the Tara D. Sujata, who has been immortalized in Buddhism for having offered milk rice, that is Gavpan, to Siddhartha Gautam, came from Senanigam, identified now with Bakror. Located in the forest thicket on the either side of the river Naranjara, that is in Nilanjana, also known as Leelajan and Falgu, the would-be Buddha found the neighborhood of Uruvela and Senanigam as quite congenial for severe ascetical practices, and stayed here till after the attainment of enlightenment. The Gaya Tirath was a preeminent pilgrimage center for ancestor worship much before the would-be Buddha arrived in this region. The Buddha came to the outskirts of Gaya specifically because it was the place where pilgrims sought an escape from the fetters of death, albeit on behalf of deceased relatives rather than themselves. This has been pointed out by Professor Asher. It was in the Gaya Dharma Kshetra that the Buddha realized the futility of severe penances and mortification. His encounter with Tibetic Jatilas, the proto-Shaivite fire worshippers of the Gaya Dharma Kshetra, and their conversion is another very important event in which the Buddha used feats of magic rather than impress them with his wisdom. Here the Buddha is also said to have defeated Mara comprehensively. It was also at Uruvela that the Buddha had reservations in his own mind about the efficacy of preaching the Dharma when the Brahma Sampati pleaded with him not to succumb to such hesitancy. Sampati also advised the Buddha later that he did not need a teacher. It has been suggested that during the 45 years of ministry and for a while after the nirvana of the Buddha, the Buddhist Sangha was not very active in the Gaya Dharma Kshetra. This could have been due to a variety of reasons, such as this region being rural, whereas Buddhism was highly urban and elitist. Buddhism as well as anti-Buddha dissidents under Devadatta being quite active here. Thus, one is not surprised that during this ministry of the Buddha is known to have visited the Gaya Dharma Kshetra no more than twice. The Mahabodhi tree, the sacred people at whose foot the Buddha had attained enlightenment, is generally known as the Mahabodhi tree to distinguish it from the other Bodhi trees which have originated from the Mahabodhi tree itself. Though quite a few other Bodhi trees appear to be older than the present Mahabodhi tree, this people is considered as the most sacred among all the Bodhi trees for the reason that the diamond throne is located at its foot, which the Buddhists believe to be the exact spot of enlightenment. The Buddhists believe that the site of Mahabodhi tree forms the navel of the earth, that is Patvi Nabhi or Prithvi Nabhi. During the lifetime of the Buddha himself, the Mahabodhi tree came to represent him and began being worshipped as a shrine, that is a chaitya, by his followers. Emperor Ashoka visited the Mahabodhi tree during the 10th year of his reign as part of the Dharma pilgrimage and either built a shrine here or most probably replenished the already existing shrine. Some Buddhist texts mention that Ashoka's queen Tishyarakshita and King Shashank had completely destroyed this tree. There is also at least one recorded incident when it fell down due to a storm in the year 1876, and Alexander Cunningham planted a sapling some distance away from the original spot to protect the temple from being harmed, and another one some 80 feet away to the north for Hindu worshippers. Interestingly, a recent DNA fingerprinting conducted by the Forest Research Institute DRI of Dehradun indicates that the people tree is older and more authentic compared to the current Bodhi tree. The tree that has been planted 80 feet away is supposedly older than the Bodhi tree that exists at the place where it has been planted now. On the basis of the report of the FRI, the Temple Management Committee has implemented a number of precautions over the years to ensure that the tree stays in good health. Also, as a backup, an offspring of the Mahabodhi tree was planted in 2010 that can take over in case something happens to this tree in the near future.